All right, let's dive in. Today we're looking at Surah Al-Fatiha.
Okay.
This is the opening chapter of the Quran. And I think most of our listeners probably know.
Yeah.
But just for context, the Quran is
Yep.
it's the central religious text of Islam,
Yeah.
and it's believed to be a revelation from God by Muslims.
Exactly.
So Surah Al-Fatiha, it's short, right?
Yes. Very short.
But it's powerful,
That is
and
not-
it's recited in every single prayer multiple times.
Yeah, multiple times in every prayer.
So it's a pretty big deal.
Huge. Yeah, it's like a foundation.
Yeah, and it kind of gives us like a window
Right.
into like the heart of Islamic belief.
Absolutely.
So we're going to unpack some of that today.
Yeah, let's get into it.
We're going to go beyond just the words themselves.
Right.
And really try to understand like what are these words conveying?
Exactly. The deeper meaning.
What's the message?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So it starts, in the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate. I always find it interesting how it starts with that.
Yeah.
Like right off the bat.
It sets the tone.
Invoking those attributes.
Exactly.
What is the significance of that?
Well, I think it's really about emphasizing
Okay.
the core of Islam.
Yeah. Yeah.
Allah's mercy and compassion.
Yeah.
These are paramount in Islam.
Okay.
They're not just abstract ideas, but something that Muslims believe are actively experienced in our lives
Right.
and shape our understanding of his relationship with us.
So it's setting the stage for everything that follows.
Exactly. It's the foundation. It's like, the whole Quran
Yeah.
is kind of framed to this lens of divine grace.
Okay, so then it moves to all praise is for Allah, the Lord of all the worlds.
Yeah.
It's like grand, universal.
Yeah, it's powerful.
Yeah.
It's a declaration of Allah's power and dominion
Right.
as the sole creator and sustainer of everything.
Okay.
Not just our world,
Yeah.
all the worlds.
Okay.
And it really reinforces this concept of tawhid.
Tawheed.
Yeah, the oneness of God,
Okay.
which is central to Islamic belief.
Yeah.
There's no room for any other deity in this picture.
Okay, got it. And then there it is again. The most merciful, the most compassionate,
Yeah.
like a little reminder tucked in there.
Exactly. It's not just repetition, it's emphasis.
Yeah.
It's like saying, hey, remember, even amidst all this power,
Right.
all this vast dominion, all this mercy and compassion are always there.
It's balancing that might with grace.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Perfectly balanced.
Okay. So those lines are kind of painting this picture of Allah.
Right.
But then we move on,
Yeah.
and it seems like it introduces us and our role, master of the day of judgment.
Right.
That one always feels weighty.
Yeah. It's serious.
Yeah.
It introduces the Islamic belief in the Day of Judgment,
Okay.
a day of ultimate reckoning where all our actions are judged by Allah.
That feels a little at odds with this idea of mercy that we just talked about.
Right. Well, it might seem that way,
Yeah.
but it's actually about the balance,
Okay.
the perfect balance of divine attributes. So, mercy and compassion don't negate justice.
Gotcha.
The Day of Judgment represents the culmination of both,
Okay.
ensuring that there's fairness and accountability for our choices.
That's an interesting way to look at it.
Yeah.
So then we get this. You alone we worship, and you alone we ask for help. Feels much more personal.
Yeah, it's like a direct conversation with Allah.
Yeah.
And, this line is deeply connected to that concept of tawhid we talked about.
Right.
It's really solidifying the exclusive nature of worship in Islam.
Okay.
We're acknowledging Allah is the only one worthy of worship,
Yeah.
and that he's the only one who can truly provide the help we need.
Makes sense.
It's about a direct and intimate relationship between us and the divine.
Okay. So finally, last line. This is interesting. Guide us on the straight path, the path of those who have received your blessings, not the path of those who have gone astray or earned your anger. It's almost like, a traveler asking for directions.
Yeah, like, which way do I go?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a beautiful analogy. In Islam, the straight path represents a life lived in accordance with Allah's will,
Okay.
a life guided by his teachings.
Right.
It contrasts this path with those who've strayed.
Yeah.
Right. To remind us that there are consequences for going astray.
Okay.
So just like a traveler, we're acknowledging our need for guidance.
To stay on track.
Exactly.
So it's amazing to me how this one little chapter covers so much.
It's incredible.
We start with the attributes of Allah. We
Yeah.
talk about our role, the Day of Judgment, the idea that we only worship Allah,
Exactly.
and then asking for guidance.
All in a few lines.
Yeah, so much packed in there.
It's powerful. It's a reminder of Allah's mercy and compassion,
Right.
His power and dominion,
Yeah.
the importance of seeking His guidance,
Mhm.
and the reality of accountability.
Right. That we're going to be held accountable.
Exactly.
So it's not just about saying these words.
Yeah.
It's really about taking these concepts and thinking about them.
Internalizing them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do they apply to my life?
Right. How do they guide our actions?
Because if that straight path is about living in accordance with Allah's will,
Yeah.
how do we find it?
Exactly.
How do we stay on it?
It's a lifelong journey.
Yeah. That's something to think about, isn't it?
Definitely. A lot to ponder.
We started with this short chapter,
Mm-hmm.
but we really went on this journey through some core tenets.
The core of Islam.
Yeah. Really powerful stuff.
It is powerful and beautiful.
All right. Well, thanks for joining me on this deep dive.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll see you next time.
See you then.